horns. Hey!
Hey there! Hey now! Welcome to the program. This is live from Lincoln, Nebraska. It's Around the Corn. Let's meet our contestants today. First, representing the city of New York City, Chandler Boyd.
Yeah.
Representing Chicago, Sam Holcroft. Representing Miami, we have Logan Peterson. So just to recap before we start first word, we have a Packer fan that is representing New York. That's a mute. We have a Raider fan that is coming for Chicago. That is a mute. We have a Dolphin fan who is actually going for Miami. There we go. It's a good way to start the show. All right, moving on to the first word. First word. The first question today we have, gentlemen. Okay. So goodbye, BCS. Hello, playoffs. Which they've already said they're going to change in a matter of years as far as how many teams are in it. So, Chandler, start us off. Did things just get better or worse?
I think things got significantly better. I mean, you have a system that allows teams to actually go show how good they are in comparison to the rest of everybody else. You have a top four, maybe, teams, and say you have a number 4 team that's better than the number 1 team in the nation. You can't prove that unless you have a playoff system.
Okay, Sam, respond.
I agree with Chandler, but 4 teams, how many undefeated teams are there right now? 3. And basically you have to go undefeated to make those 4. I would expand it to 16 teams. Have the winner of the 10 conferences go in, and then have 6 wild cards. Now those 6 wild cards could be from anywhere, including the independents like Notre Dame, or Temple, or Old Dominion. But
Old Dominion, do we really think Old Dominion's going to go undefeated and have a chance?
yes, you never know.
OD for the
But-
title.
That's a mute across the board for you guys.
What?
But those 6 teams could also come from the same conference as the SEC. So there could be 7 teams from the SEC and then 1 team from every other.
Okay, so you're in favor of increasing it to 16. Okay, Logan.
I agree with Chandler. I don't agree with the enlargement of 16 because if you do 16, that's going to end up just meaning you're going to start the playoffs in the middle of a season.
That's for 16, Sam.
But also, you would shorten the schedule down, or take out a game. But also, you know how many bowl weeks there are, Logan?
4.
There are 4. Oh, how many rounds are there in a 16-team playoff?
Yeah, but the teams aren't playing every...
But
single
it'd be every
week.
week.
So does that mean you're completely getting rid of the bowl system for everybody else?
No, you
teams
still
play.
keep the bowl. You still keep the Outback Bowl, the Sun Bowl, the Capital One Bowl.
Those are just for the 16 not best.
Yes.
All right.
Moving on. Second question and first word. All right, it's about that time. It's bowl time. So, I want a prediction. Rose Bowl, Sugar Bowl, Cotton Bowl, National Championship. You get to pick. Give me a prediction, starting with Logan.
National. Even though I'm just going to say Alabama. Rose Bowl. I'm going to say Oregon gets it again.
Okay, now who does Alabama face?
Alabama. No.
Alabama can't face Alabama.
So good, they play themselves.
There we go. Move on.
All right, Chandler.
All right, I think the title's going to Florida State this year. They're going to beat out any team
Really?
not Alabama. Because I think this is the year Alabama falls. They're going to get hit at the knees by Auburn this week. And they're going to fall. It's going to be a David and Goliath situation. Florida State's going to come back and win it. They're going to break the streak. I think the Rose Bowl this year is going to go to an upset UCLA. UCLA is going to come and face Ohio State in the Rose Bowl because Ohio State's clearly going to win the Big Ten. And they are going to make the surprise upset. I think UCLA has the quarterback, they have the wide receiver weapons, and they have middle linebackers to do it.
Very good answer. Only thing is, UCLA beat Nebraska. Don't like that, Sam.
I also agree with Chandler that Florida State will win the national championship, but I think A.J. McCarron has enough left in the tank to beat Auburn and then beat Missouri in the SEC championship.
Well, you got Missouri in there. Okay.
Well, all they have to do is win this week, and they're in the SEC championship. And in the Rose Bowl, I have Ohio State and Stanford. That will come in just like last year against Wisconsin, close down to the wire, but I think Stanford will pull the upset over Ohio State.
Stanford in the Rose Bowl. It's weird not to have Wisconsin winning that. All right. Moving on. So the hype was wrong. Who is your biggest bust of the year for college football? We're going to start with Sam.
I would have to say Florida, and I'll give you one reason. During their loss against Georgia Southern, there was one play where two of their offensive linemen were blocking each other. I don't know if you all saw that, but also they started.
They wear the same jersey. Logan.
Well, I agree with Sam because, well,
Well, then
Can't
Sam
get
gets to the point. Stop agreeing with each
you
other.
can't get worse than blocking your own player.
All right. Chandler.
I'm going to say my biggest bust for the NCAA football season's Notre Dame by
Ooh.
far. Notre Dame had their quarterback, supposed to be the best kid in the league, supposed to take a Heisman home. They're supposed to come back, take revenge from that massive national championship loss last year. And then he puts up maybe 100 yards a game for the first couple weeks. Maybe they'll win a game, maybe they won't. They get completely knocked out of the top 25. They aren't even on anybody's radar.
Now, to be
right now.
fair, their starting quarterback that they thought they were going to have had to leave the program.
Exactly.
So this the quarterback you're speaking of was actually the second string quarterback.
But he was supposed to be better than the first. That's what I was hearing. He's better than the first quarterback.
But also, look at someone who they beat. Do you know who has the number one defense in the nation? Michigan State. And they beat Michigan State and gave Michigan State their only loss thus far this season. And
Michigan
other than
State beat Nebraska.
so, Ohio State will beat Michigan State.
That is true. That's a mute for Sam. Don't bring up a team that beat Nebraska. That is not going to get you any points. Not on Around the Corn. All right, we're going to move on. The hype was never there. Who's your biggest surprise of the year in college football? Chandler, we're going to start with you.
I really like Fresno State and NIU this year. Both are two of the 5 remaining undefeated teams this year. Not 3 like Sam said. Fresno State came out of nowhere. Their Mountain West is not a great conference, and they still remain to be one of the top 20 to 15 teams in NCAA. Same with NIU. They have their quarterback, who's always been good, but he hasn't always had the team to surround him. He hasn't always had that skill level that he's needed to progress to get to the Heisman watch where he is today.
To be fair, Alabama is also undefeated. Sam,
Well, I'm going to go.
that makes it 3.
I'm going to go with a negative surprise with Northwestern. Now, Northwestern was expected to be one of the best teams in the Legends division of the Big Ten, with Kane Coulter, Simeon, Benrick Mark. But they're 0-7 in the Big Ten this far, losing close games. I will give them that, but they lost. Knock it down against Nebraska. Knock it down. Don't tip it up. Knock it down.
And nobody's learned. Nobody's learned from that, not in the NFL or in college football. All right, Logan.
Florida State.
Florida
All you
State.
hear about is Florida State, even from Sam.
He's right.
And they're the biggest disappointment because what?
Well, you think they'd do better than what they're supposed to, and no.
You know they're undefeated, right?
Yeah,
They are.
against few good teams.
With a quarterback that might be kicked off the team with the backup quarterback that is no longer on the team because of injury and a third-string quarterback that nobody's ever heard of.
But that doesn't mean they don't have a team following him. Jameis Winston isn't the only player on Florida State. They still have a good defense. They still have a high-powered offense. It's not saying that Jameis Winston is the only player on that team. It's a similar situation. Well, actually, no. I'm going to have to say you were wrong when you went up and said that they haven't played anybody. The ACC's a gigantic conference this year. Duke's making big upsets. Boston College has somebody up for the Heisman. And for the first time in 10, 20 years, except Matt Ryan, Andre Williams is a beast. They beat Duke. Duke's beating all these ranked teams. Florida State, you can't just have the number 2 team in the nation in your division and say they're not very good. And Clemson's also a high-powered offense. They can't stop a whole lot of people on defense, but...
And also, I'm going to add on to what Chandler's saying. Logan, have you seen Florida State's schedule? They played Miami U, blew them out. Maryland, blew them out. Clemson, blew them out. They were all top 25 when they played. Clemson, Taj Boyd with his big hike. Sammy Watkins.
It's always a good thing to bring up the schedule, gentlemen. Always a good thing. Learn from Woody Page. All right, moving on. The Big Ten is getting no respect this year from anybody in the country. Who do you have as the best conference in the nation? Logan.
That's a tough one. Because I don't really know anything outside Big Ten because I only watch Nebraska.
Hey! Chandler!
All right, I'm going to stand by my opinion from the last question. I'm going to say the ACC is the strongest conference this year. Because in the SEC, you always have the SEC. The SEC's a gigantic presence in football. You can't think of football without thinking of the SEC. You have Alabama, you have LSU. But when you think of the ACC, they have defenses to go along with their high-powered offenses this year. Unlike a lot of the teams in the SEC, LSU, they have no defense. They have their quarterback who's not terrible, but he's not great either.
Okay, so even though SEC has historically been better on defense, you're saying this year the ACC is better. Okay, Sam.
I'm going to go total opposite with Chandler. And I'm going to say the SEC is the top conference this year. And I will tell you why. They have 7 ranked teams. 6, 7 ranked teams. Including 3 in the top 10.